Hello, you fantastic people, and welcome to the Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, CW. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to hit the bell on YouTube and subscribe to the podcast. Tell a friend or two about this 10-minute wrestling show. Today, we're talking about the love triangle between Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns in this weird championship scrum they got going. Congratulations to Cody Rhodes for getting booked to win the Royal Rumble. I'm kidding. Good on him for getting one step closer to finishing this story. The Rumble, as I said in my last episode, was a Rumble. It happened. It was a thing. The Women's Royal Rumble had a lot more flair, while the men's was very much, we have to get to the end of this, long-term storytelling we've been setting up, and the only way to do that is to put Cody over, to get him back in the WrestleMania picture. They got lucky and brought in CM Punk a couple of months ago, and they had to get him in the final two. So they did. And unfortunately, he got hurt, and now he's out, but Cody's still on the road to finishing a story. I say a because on Raw the following Monday, Seth Rollins came out and basically asked Cody to challenge him for the World Heavyweight Championship instead of taking on Roman Reigns for the Universal, all those words, championship. And he laid out this whole spiel about his title being the workman's title and him showing up every week to defend it and being on every pay-per-view and taking on every challenger. And Roman was a paper champion and he's never showing up, and he's politicking, and it's the Hollywood title and all this other nonsense, which makes no sense because Seth held that title prior to Roman, so he's crapping on his own legacy. But that's neither here nor there. He said, "What would Dusty do? Which title would Dusty want?" Kind of trying to leverage Cody Rhodes. I don't know if you guys have noticed. I'm sure you have. But Cody Rhodes likes to cry a lot. That man cries all the time. I don't know. His emotions, he wears them on his sleeve. Or he's a really, really good actor because he always looks like he's on the verge of bawling. But every time you mention his father, his face curls up like, oh no. Seth hit him with the, "What would your dad do?" His face curled up and he said, "Hey, guess what? I'll think about it." And now we have this intrigue of who will Cody choose to wrestle. He's wrestling Roman. Guys, let's stop with this faux story that you're trying to position here. Cody has been on the road to finish this story and get this title for 2 years. In those 2 years, he crushed Seth Rollins in a Hell in a Cell with a torn pec. In 2 prior pay-per-views to that, he beat up Seth. It's what he did. That's done. He lost to Roman last year at the Royal Rumble, at the WrestleMania. At WrestleMania, he got screwed over by the Bloodline, all this stuff. It was a huge letdown. Everyone was sad. And it took him a full year to get back to this position. There is no way you can have him wrestle Seth Rollins, a person he has already beat up quite a bit, to wrestle for a title that didn't exist when he first came back to the company. There is no story there. Now, would they put on a great match? Sure. Is this the time for that match? No. He needs to go wrestle Roman and become the champion that, people want for, whether it be SmackDown or Raw, whatever the case may be. He needs to hold that Universal Undisputed Championship. The fact that over this year, the story has been, I need to finish the story, but not necessarily having a beef with Roman it still rubs me the wrong way. Before he wrestled Roman at WrestleMania last year, they had no story, and they had to try and build one with Paul Heyman, which it was fine, but he didn't have a personal, he didn't have an antagonist in Roman Reigns. He just got screwed over by the Bloodline. They have an opportunity between now and WrestleMania to kind of build that story back up. But that is the story. And if my God, if anyone is going to dethrone Roman, if it's not Cody, then who is it at this point? We're going to WrestleMania. There needs to be either a changing of the guard, or I swear I think Cody's going to leave. But I'll tell you one thing. If he does take on Seth, I think we can all agree that that is a consolation prize for the 2 years of story they've been trying to get out of Cody returning. He can certainly hold the World Heavyweight Championship, but what does that title mean to Cody? It shouldn't mean anything because it's only existed for what, a year? He's been chasing that Universal title this whole time. The only thing that's made sense to him is the title that that eluded his family. He has to get that one. I also don't like the idea, and I've said this in a previous episode of Please Book Seth Rollins Better. I don't like him just randomly booking himself into title matches. You're the champ. I get you're the workman's champ, the workhorse champ that they keep calling him. But why do you continually chase your opponents? He chased Nakamura. He said, please wrestle me for this title again. And Nakamura said, oh, no, I'll wrestle you on my time. And he would weekly come out and tell Nakamura, please wrestle me for this title, until Nakamura said, fine, I'll do it, and then lost. What is the point of that booking? Shouldn't the onus be on the challenger to chase the championship? Isn't that the whole point? If anything, Seth should seek out great matches, but not necessarily championship matches. Or at least want people to have a good record or earn a shot at him for the title versus just randomly handing him out. Granted, Cody has earned that shot. The man is the biggest babyface in the company. Again, 2K24 cover athlete. He's the cover boy. But you don't just walk up and say, you should wrestle me for it. Also, Seth is hurt. Seth is currently injured. What kind of story would it be if he not only won against Cody, injured? What does that say about Cody and 2 years worth of story? But if he loses, does that make Cody a better champion? Beating up a guy who's not 100%, not even a quote unquote 100%. They don't call it 100%, but he's not even like 50%. That dude's limping, right? Like doctors were like, don't do it. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then if he loses, does that make Cody a valid champion? Is that a good match to have a guy who's on top wrestle a champion who's not fit to I don't know. I get the storytelling that they're trying to do. They're trying to add some intrigue, but there's no story there. There's no upside for Cody to beat up on Seth again. And winning or losing gives nothing to either man. Like Seth losing because he's hurt, or Seth losing to Cody, which he's already done, it builds nobody. It builds nothing, and the title means nothing to Cody. The title still means nothing to the company. I don't understand. Like Seth Rollins is not a final boss champion. He is a very good workhorse champion, yes, but he doesn't have the cachet that Roman has built up over the years. You call Roman whatever you want. You say that he's ducking people, he's cheating to win, whatever. It's all kayfabe. He's booked to do that, and he's booked as the biggest thing in wrestling. Maybe a year ago he was, but that title means more. It has more prestige. There's more behind it. And Cody would be foolish, or WWE would be foolish to put Cody against Seth and leave Roman for The Rock. That's not long-term booking. Anyway, what do you think about Cody Rhodes and his love triangle with the championship? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for listening, and don't you ever forget.
I'm your friend, but if I ever see you in the ring, I can beat you. Don't you know? Yeah, yeah, yeah.